So if we
Okay.
go ahead and do the refinance at what interest rate?
I've got to look and see what's available.
I'll put it in at 3. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate this. We're going to put it in at 3% for 360 payments. Watch what happens to our 929.58. 929.58 becomes 737.81. That's just the principal and interest. All right. So now we've got a lower payment amount. But look at this. Here's what we're talking about. We don't have 175,000. A refinance generally costs somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000. Okay. So let's just say that the refinance, to make it simple, comes in at 185,000. It's going to cost $10,000. So we're still coming out pretty good on the payment. It's still $779.97, even though the refinance costs $10,000. Now watch this. I'm going to
Okay.
scroll into the payment. Now we see payment number 1 through 24 on the screen. And
Right.
this is what people need to be careful about when they refinance. Okay. We're rolling a loan within the loan. We're saying, I want to borrow the $10,000 as well. But since I'm getting it at 3%, it's not going to be a big deal. But watch this. Look, here's our cumulative principal. Here's our cumulative interest. Okay. So the cumulative principal means I'm adding up all my principal payments. So the first money we're paying back is the $10,000 to get back to our original $175,000 we had before the refinance. How long is it going to take us to do that? You see, in the first year, we only pay off $3,862.47 of the $10,000 closing cost. And we've just paid $5,497 interest on it. So if we go down here to find $10,000, it's going to take 31 months to pay off the first $10,000, and it's going to cost us $13,000 in interest to do it. In other words, our refinance is $24,000 to refi this loan if we're not careful. So these are the things we have to look at when it comes time to refinance to get that lower payment, that it doesn't end up costing us not $10,000 to refinance, but $24,000 to refinance. And it puts us behind the 8 ball another 30 months before we start paying on the mortgage again, because our mortgage was 175,000. Most people aren't looking at that. So if I have to refinance, let me knock out that first $10,000 as quickly as possible. Okay. Now I know that we have some financial struggles, but by lowering that payment and any money that we can come up with to apply to principal can make a big difference. Now, I'm not recommending this. I'm just making a point here as to what could happen. Even if I borrowed, even if I got another loan to pay off the $10,000, I get a $10,000 loan. Let me look at this thing here. We're going to put in Brett Whistle again, and we're going to put in a $10,000 loan, okay, at 10% interest, and we're going to knock that thing out over 60 months. Okay, that's 5 years. So we got a $10,000 loan at 10%. If we paid it off over 5 years, it would cost us $2,748.20. Does everybody see that? Okay. This is how much the bank would charge me to borrow their money for 5 years at $10,000. Okay. And it cost me $212.47. I could take that $10,000, apply it to this mortgage, be paid down to right here in 1 month with that $10,000, and it would save me almost $14,000 in interest and knock off 30 payments with that $10,000. What would it cost me? Dun, da, 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 a total of $2,748.20. That's a classic arbitrage play, using somebody else's money to get a big old benefit for it, and I pay them pennies on the dollar for the use of it. Saves me 13 grand, but it only costs me 2,700. This is something we need to think about when we are refinancing, to see how we can get rid of that refinance fee early. If you have it in savings, that's another way to take care of it. But if we don't have it in savings, do not be afraid to borrow the money, even if it says 10% interest rate, but the interest cost starts out at only $83.33. So we're using $83 payments to kill $462 interest payments. Does this make sense to you?
It really does. And she has money in her 401k, and I know she has money in savings. So I'm going to play with those numbers again. So thank you very much for that.
You're
Let
so
me
welcome.
wish everyone a wonderful day.
And listen, contact Kenyatta, because if she has over, I believe, over 30 or 40 grand in her 401k, she does not have to pull money out of her 401k. She can get a loan against her 401k and leave her money in it. You want to get a loan against the 401k, not take money out of the 401k, because once you start doing that, even though you're paying it back, you lose time and interest on that money. So the compounding effect of keeping that money in there for the time you're using to pay it back. Let's keep the money in there, making money, and then use a loan against the 401k, and we'll show you how to cut the interest cost on that loan by 50 to 75%.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.